The Vols had their first scrimmage of fall camp over the weekend. And a lot of stories came out of that, even though it was closed to the public. A lot of insider reporting came out based on that and what Josh Heupel said. That is very revealing, and we're going to discuss what exactly happened at that scrimmage and the biggest story among everything there. So this is 4 Downs, brought to you by Ted Russell Ford Lincoln. Ted Russell Ford Lincoln is your home for the finest vehicles in Knoxville, new and used. East Tennessee's largest Ford and Lincoln volume dealer. Tennessee's first scrimmage of fall camp for 2025 had a lot of revealing points, and we're going to get to those now. First, a quick message from Cooper Mays. Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe. Thank you, Coop. For those who don't know, again, I bring this up every time. The reason I'm doing the Cooper Mays voice is when Dave Hooker is on, and he's out right now, but when he's on, he's got the board, he's got the sound effect board, and we have Cooper Mays' voice dubbed in to do the 4 Downs. But since I don't have the board, I am intimidating Cooper. Not intimidating. I am imitating Cooper Mays to have a little fun. So again, Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe. Scrimmage recap for Tennessee on fall camp. It is 4 Downs, brought to you by Ted Russell Ford. We get rolling with first down. Coop here. First down. Biggest story of the day. George McIntyre had the best day of the scrimmage. Apparently, George McIntyre balled out. And this gets to my point with Josh Heupel, and Joey Aguilar, and Jake Merklinger, and everything I've been saying. Josh Heupel is politicking with his quarterback race right now. Because before George McIntyre had the best day on Saturday, we had reports come out that he had already been relegated to the 3rd team only a week into fall camp. Why? Because Josh Heupel doesn't want to name him the starter this year. Why? If you name him the starter this year, you got to make him the starter next year. And Faison Brandon's coming next year. And Josh Heupel wants an open competition between McIntyre and Faison Brandon and even Jake Merklinger, hence the reason Jake Merklinger is not going to be the starter. This is why Joey Aguilar is going to be the starting quarterback no matter what. And I think it's kind of ridiculous. But, you know, there was a report that came out that sources told on 3 that Aguilar has been taking the vast majority of the first team reps, and Merklinger is still in the fight, working with the second team with McIntyre with the third. We knew McIntyre was with the third, but it's very clear Aguilar holds the edge. He holds the edge because Josh Heupel doesn't want to have to start Merklinger or McIntyre, because if he does, he can't have an open competition next year when both of them come back and Faison Brandon is on the team. Here's where Josh Heupel is screwed. McIntyre has more potential than Merklinger. He believes Brandon has more potential than McIntyre. But of the most ready guys this year to start, it could potentially be Merklinger or McIntyre. And if he starts either of them, then he's going to enter fall camp next year or spring practice next year with a quarterback who started the whole season this year, and then 2 other quarterbacks who might actually be better than him by that point. Heupel doesn't want that. So Heupel's not running a fair race. And the fact that George McIntyre had the best fall camp or had the best scrimmage tells me that. I said back in the summer, Tennessee should not have gone for a transfer quarterback. They should have upgraded elsewhere and gone ahead and gone all in with George McIntyre as their starting quarterback. He's their future anyway. They believe in him. But Heupel didn't want to do that because he wants the open competition next year with Merklinger, Brandon, and McIntyre. And I got to be honest, this politicking is bad, in my opinion. McIntyre should be the starter. He's the best player on the team. Cooper Mays here. Second down. One of the things that really stood out over the weekend with this was the center position. Now, the center position, we know Tennessee has to replace 4 offensive linemen. We're pretty sure one of them is returning, Lance Hurd, so he's got the left tackle spot locked up. We're pretty sure David Sanders, the true freshman, is going to lock up the right tackle spot. He's a phenom. Josh Heupel went and added 2 transfer guards to replace the interior line, where Tennessee lost key players in Javonte Spraggins, Andre Carrick, and obviously Cooper Mays. So he went and got Sam Pendleton, the Notre Dame transfer. He went and got Wendell Moe Jr., the Arizona transfer. And he was going to work those 2 in, but then he was going to have to start somebody that he signed out of high school for the first time since he's been at Tennessee. Yes, to this point, there has not been an offensive lineman that Josh Heupel signed out of high school start for the Vols under Josh Heupel. It's kind of crazy. So he's going to have to start somebody there. It was going to be either William Satterwhite, Max Anderson, maybe Gage Ginther. We don't know. It looks like William Satterwhite was emerging. So the question, though, has now become who's going to start at center. Because I thought it was going to be William Satterwhite at center and Pendleton and Moe at the 2 guard spots. Well, it looks like Moe is locked in on a guard spot. And the center position is a competition between Satterwhite and Pendleton. That could be a concern that it's a competition now. That means I think it's more they don't know. No one's standing out. No one's doing a good job because I think they would like to find the center quickly so they could establish the cadence with the quarterback and everything like that. The fact that they haven't found their center means no one stepped up to be good enough because both of them could start. The other one could start at guard if he's a little bit behind. I think they think both are good blockers. But I think it's a very big concern that they haven't found their center yet. And I think that's a lot that opens up the door for a lot of issues going forward. So I think this one is a giant concern. The center position is being open. So I'm going to set up the poll question now, which is because those are the 2 biggest shocking ones. What stands out more to you? What's a bigger story from the Vols first scrimmage? George McIntyre being the best QB or no starting center yet? All right, you guys let me know on that. That's the poll question now. Those are the top 2. But now, Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down. Third down is this. Who was out on the field and who wasn't due to injury? Mike Matthews practiced. Looks like that injury to Mike Matthews is no big deal. So Tennessee's fine there. And he's the most important receiver on this team because he's the one that dictates coverage. Jamal McCoy was held out. Not a surprise. We just detailed the Chris Brazzell situation. He was already being limited, so he was held out. I think the biggest story, though, is that Braylon Staley was held out. Braylon Staley is supposed to be Tennessee's main slot guy. He's supposed to break out this year after riding the bench behind Squirrel White last year. And the talent level for him is through the roof. So not having him out there is a really big concern. And it suggests that Tennessee's going to turn somewhere else for the slot, even though that didn't show up over the weekend. And that's going to bring us to 4th down. First, 4 downs brought to you by Ted Russell Ford Lincoln. Ted Russell Ford Lincoln is your home for the finest vehicles in Knoxville. New and used, East Tennessee's largest Ford and Lincoln volume dealer.
A beacon of hope in a world of high prices. Look to the skies, Knoxville. Super savings is here. Ted Russell Ford is East Tennessee's #1 volume Ford dealer.
Right now, get 0% APR, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on select models, plus 2 years complimentary maintenance.
Come see the super dealer today at either Ted Russell Ford location, Parkside Drive, or Kingston Pike.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down. Man, I do a good impression. 4th down. Boo Carter participated. Now, Josh Heupel, who just is cagey about everything, said Boo Carter is still day-to-day. However, after working by himself for a week, he was back at full practice with everybody last week, and then he took part in the scrimmage full-time on Saturday. He is obviously the starting nickel. He's going to be the starting nickel. Josh Heupel can say what he wants. That part's very clear. At this point, he's going to be a full-time 2-way player, too. Tennessee has no other options in the slot outside of a freshman. They're not ready to start a freshman, or Amari Jefferson, who I just said was injured in the spring and isn't ready to pick up the offense at full go yet. Boo Carter is going to be the main slot receiver for Tennessee in 2025, at least in September. Crazy to think about, but the fact that Boo Carter's back at full practice, they're ready to let bygones be bygones. The poll question, what's a bigger story from the Vols first scrimmage? George McIntyre being the best quarterback is 48%. No starting center yet is 52%. Eileen, no starting center too, even though I have issues with the whole George McIntyre thing. But we'll see how that goes. But at the same time, yes, I think Boo Carter is going to end up being the main slot guy early on. And all the talk I gave you guys about Boo Carter earlier in the year looks more and more crucial now. And it looks like Boo Carter's going to get his way because Tennessee has to make him get his way, give him his way because of their situation at the slot receiver position. May not be something they wanted to do, but it looks like something they didn't have the choice of doing. And so we're going to have to see how that plays out. But I think the biggest stories still, George McIntyre is the best quarterback on this roster. He's the best quarterback on this roster. This offense is easy to pick up. He should be starting, even if he is only 195 pounds. I think by the start of fall camp, I think by the start of the season, you could have easily gotten him up to 200, 205 pounds. George McIntyre should be starting right now. Okay. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. He's the best quarterback. And I would probably do William Satterwhite at center because he's familiar with the offense, move Sam Pendleton over to guard. But we'll see how that goes going forward. I'm not qualified enough to know the inner workings of the offensive line to know who's the best for that.